Digital guitar modelers are superb pieces of kit, but if you're a new user, they can also be extremely frustrating pieces of kit. They come in all different shapes and sizes, all different functionalities, but if you're new to the game, they can absolutely blow your brains apart, to the point where maybe you don't actually end up using it and feel like you've wasted your money. Okay, so let's get straight into these 5 things then. Now don't worry, these aren't going to be deep dive super technical stuff where we get into the nitty gritty about adjusting minutiae parameters and all sorts of stuff. And no, I'm not going to spend the next 2.5-3 minutes trying to show off playing guitar for you, so you don't need to worry about scrubbing through that. This is just 5 straight up points that you can start to work with straight away to get the most out of your new digital modeler, definitely as someone who is a new user. Here we go. Okay, number 1, the first thing to remember is the sound that you hear through YouTube, that is not the sound that you are going to hear when you plug into it and start playing for the first time. It doesn't matter how good of a studio you're in, it doesn't matter how high end your speakers are, and it doesn't matter how expensive your set of fancy headphones are. It is not going to sound the same as you heard it in the demonstration. A couple of things to consider are, YouTube compresses things down a little bit. That's going to change what you hear. Also, the pickups in that person's guitar might be different to the ones in your guitar. So just remember this, whatever the demonstration player is playing and whatever sound that they are demoing for you, that is a pro setup. They've had time beforehand to get the sound that they want. The sound that you are hearing through YouTube will be different to what you hear in the real world. Just remember that one. All right, number 2, and I learned this one the hard way, all right? Use the factory presets as a starting point to get you close to where you want to be with whatever sound it is or tone that we're trying to create. A good amount of time and effort has been put into making these presets sound as good as they can by the manufacturer, because the manufacturer wants you to spend your money with them. They will also have set them up so that they work with a wide variety of guitars. They won't have just banged a load of things together and hoped for the best. Try each one without any of the effects switched on. Find the one that is closest to the sound or tone that you're looking for, and then dive into that preset and tweak it a little bit until it's really close to where you want it. Number 3, options paralysis. There will literally be hundreds of combinations of amps and cabs that you can choose from. You can spend hours going through each and every one, trying to find one that you like, but then not being able to remember the one that you quite liked 12 combinations ago. There will be so much choice that you won't end up actually choosing anything, and you'll no longer be playing the guitar because you want to play it and you enjoy playing it. You will be sitting there strumming chords, playing a couple of riffs, flick into a different amp, flick into a different cab, and get very frustrated very quickly. Coming back to those factory presets that I mentioned in point 2, use these as your jumping off point. The manufacturer will have spent time putting an amp and a cab together that they feel best represents that particular sound or genre that they're aiming it towards. And then once you've found that combination that is closest to the one that you're trying to get to, you can then add a little bit of flavour to that and go from there. Okay, on to number 4. But just before we jump into number 4, if you're finding this video helpful, then please give it a thumbs up. Consider pressing that subscribe button as well so you don't miss out on any future videos that I do on digital modelers and how I use them in a real world band setup. Okay, back into number 4. Using the things live. What you hear at home through your studio monitors or your headphones is going to sound very different when you're playing live at band volumes in that band environment. You are most likely going to need a lot less gain than you think you do. You're most likely going to need a lot less bass than you think you do. You'll probably find that you'll need more mid-range, so that mid-frequencies, and more presence or treble, so that you're able to cut through the mix, as it's called, so you can be heard. Setting your preset up for a band environment, a gig environment, if you were to play it in isolation, you might well not like the sound that you're hearing. Remember, in that live band environment, when you add in that low end from the bass and a thump from the drums and all the other bits that go around it, everything is going to come together and your guitar tone will sound ace. So if you're planning on playing live, like I do in pubs or clubs, then set up a live version of your preset. Try to do this at gig volume with the rest of the band playing, so you can see where you sit, or sorry, hear where you sit. Something to remember here though, If you can't hear yourself with the rest of the band, avoid the urge to turn the volume up. This might be the wrong thing to do. It could be that you've got too much gain, too much low frequency, so too much bass, that you're just getting lost. And if you drop those out, turn the mids, a bit more presence, a little bit more treble, you'll slice straight through and all of a sudden you'll be there. Yes, you need to be loud enough, obviously, but just turning the volume up can actually make things worse. Okay, number 5. Now believe this or not, the perfect tone does not exist. But it can be a lot of fun trying to find it. Remember to play your guitar and enjoy playing it. Don't just sit there tweaking knobs for hours and hours trying to find it. This is about having fun and some enjoyment with it. So there we go, 5 really simple tips that hopefully as a new user will help you get the most out of your digital modeler, whether you're playing at home or you're playing in a band. And like I said, there's nothing super technical in there. I'm gonna have another video coming up soon about a live preset that I use and how I've set it, and also how I adjust it for use at home when it's just me playing on my own. As ever, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.